Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Download with our special guest, Adam Antor. Daily Download is brought to you by Rex Opportunities and Ritual Motion. You can get the Daily Download email directly to your inbox by going to the link in our chat or going to Rex Opportunities. And then check out all kinds of content on Ritual Motion. If you are a content creator, feel free to hop on and start creating. So not a lot going on today. We have like a few stories, but so this will be a short one. I thought this one was interesting, and I'm curious, Adam, what you think about it. But Saudi Arabia's public investment fund acquires stakes in Capcom and Nexon. So just to remember, a few weeks ago, they said that they acquired the esports company ESL Gaming and competitive multiplayer technology platform Faceit. So now they're going to be going into Capcom and Nexon.
It's definitely interesting. Yeah, definitely interesting. I know they acquired some European football teams as well recently. What that means for any of the space, I have no idea, but money is money, I guess. But there's a lot of questions when we talk about human rights and the history of Saudi Arabia that I think leaves everyone a little bit on edge about it, but we'll see what that means, I guess, in the future.
So. Yeah, and a few years ago, Riot backed out of a deal because of those concerns.
True.
We talked about this a little last week with Ben Pfefferman, and his take was like, well, a lot of countries have human rights issues, so let's think about that one. So it's interesting. I do think that we should always be cautious and thinking about how people are treated in different countries and are we taking care of the people in the space? But they have lots of money, so I don't know if they can really be stopped at this point.
That's a good point.
Money usually wins, unfortunately.
Yeah, true.
Speaking of, YouTube is exploring new monetization for shorts. So, they're going to be making more money. And also looking into verifiable NFTs and rolling out collaborative live streams. So the new monetization is, they already have kind of this fund that goes to support, but they're looking at making shorts shoppable. And then they're also looking at opportunities within Web3 and NFTs, giving a verifiable way for fans to own unique videos, photos, art, and even experiences from their favorite creators. So they think that's going to be compelling for both creators and audiences.
That's really interesting. I wonder if they'll get to the point where you're selling clips of your stream in the NFT
I think
world.
So.
Is that kind of what interesting?
Yeah, there's actually already a company that does that, eternal.gg. You can get an NFT from an important part of your stream. So if there's something that you did really well, you can sell clips of that. So I'm going to guess that they're going to do something similar.
Oh, well, I mean, NFT is the thing right now. So
yeah, you either love it or hate it.
That's true.
I had one of those I'm getting old epiphanies because of NFTs, because I am an 80s child. I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. So I guess more of a 90s child. And everything that I hear about NFTs, I remember people saying about email. And it reminded me of a movie I loved watching growing up was You've Got Mail. And there's this whole scene about how email in solitaire is going to ruin the workforce and how awful it is, and how they're going to have to take solitaire off because nobody's getting work done. And I don't even know anybody who plays solitaire anymore. And now we have whole video games on our computers. So I agree that there are some concerns and that there's bad actors and that people need to kind of learn red flags, kind of like spam email. We're going to have to develop some guardrails and guidelines, but I don't know if they're going to go away.
So. Probably not. No.
But then it made me feel old of I lived through that. Oh.
I'm definitely feeling old with the NFT conversation as well. But I understand the value in the technology and the excitement that can be what that spawns in the future. So
Yeah, and the internal, I think it was internal. I might have said Enlight earlier. Internal.gg. They talked about like comparing it to like baseball cards and getting to like capture that moment and be like, because I totally did the 100 Thieves thing, right? Like I have this moment that's only shared with a few people, that's limited. So I'm curious, and then also getting into more of the like the contract side of things, like having these binding contracts where you can track like who owns a house or whatever. So
yeah.
I'm curious to see how it grows outside of just JPEGs. So
for sure.
anyways, enough with NFTs. I think that's our last one of the day. But Twitch is set to implement a new username policy, and they're just wanting to have a higher standard for what's acceptable and work on being more inclusive for a global economy. So anything that has sexual acts, arousal, fluids, and genitalia will be indefinitely banned. So interesting to see how that gets rolled out. They're looking at a tiered system. I'm assuming they need to alert people before they just ban them, but we shall see.
Interesting. Good for them. I'm all about it.
Me too. I know that names can be crazy. I once had a job where I got to read a bunch of gamer tags and had to be the person that reached out and said, "You are not allowed to have that." So I wish whoever's job that is good luck, and have Urban Dictionary ready, because I learned a lot of new terms. Feeling old again, but yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think that's great. I do think that it'll start with the obvious, but definitely need to like have people that are understanding of slang and know that new slang comes up and they should always be fluid in what those terms mean. And then kind of our last story on the daily download is this Hearthstone streamer got swatted. Ali Straza and her family, it was so bad they got handcuffed during the middle of her stream. They let her go and turn her stream off in the process. So apparently it was a false report. Somebody called in that there was a shooting and people are getting hurt and threatening to hurt more people. The streamer was like, the police were very kind to us. They did have to like go through the process of like handcuffing us and assessing the threat. And it ended up being a false claim. So it's very interesting to see that this is still happening and that they don't know who did it.
Dang. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know a solution to the problem of swatting. I mean, it's a scary thing. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, nothing bad happened from it. They just end up talking about how in the you can click in daily download and read the full story. And so they talk more about the expense. Like it took the people out of, another situation that they could have been in, the expense of the raid. And since the streamer is located in California, if they do figure out who did it, that person will be liable for paying for that raid. So
interesting.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. I know you have some college updates that you would like to tell us about, and then we'll let people go.
Absolutely. I mean, college esports, like every week at this point, we're in the thick of things. Everyone's competing at this point. We're still kind of toward the middle or the beginning of the season for everyone's teams. But one of the recent announcements that came out was the return to the in-person NACAD clinic. NACAD is the National Association of Esports Coaches and Directors. This is their 5th annual one. The last 2 have been remote. It's a favorite of mine. I've been to 3 of the 4 that have taken place so far. But this one will be returning to Grandview University in Des Moines on March 4th and 5th. If you're looking at college esports, if you're looking at Scholastic esports and want to learn more, highly recommend that clinic. This is not a paid advertisement. I'm not being paid for that. Just highly recommend the conference in general if that's something you're interested in. So just want to give that plug because there's a lot of cool speakers on the lineup I'm really excited about.
Oh, we did put a link. I looked it up to put the link. Now you're like making me super interested because I do like following college esports. hence why we have you here.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's interesting that they're going back to in person. I hope that
they are.
there's no more variants and we
I
have to be
I
hiding in
agree.
our houses again.
I've been
So,
I've been told there might be an online option
mhm.
to attend online as well if you can't make it, but I highly recommend the in person if you're comfortable doing it. Getting back in person with any of these events is something that I think we're all excited about, but obviously making sure it's done safely is important. So
Yeah. And you said they do training. Is it like more of
yeah, so
a
it's
traditional?
kind of like a conference, like a traditional scholastic conference where there are sessions and speakers and networking opportunities. And it's been awesome. There's not a lot of opportunities like that in scholastic esports at this point for high school and college coaches that want to learn more about how to do things better, or how to do them right. And this is one of those few opportunities. So
Okay, so it's
cannot
for
recommend enough.
people. Yeah. Is
Yeah.
it for people who are interested in becoming a coach or supporting? Like if I'm a
Yeah.
business that wants to support it, who should be looking to
I
go?
would say anyone who wants to learn more about scholastic esports, specifically college, but also a little bit high school, it's would be a great event. Most of the sessions, there's usually sessions focused on new coaches, directors who are thinking about starting esports or just started esports, and now they've expanded into some sessions with for current coaches and directors who just want to kind of learn more about what they should be doing, kind of the next steps in their program. So sessions for everyone is really the short answer when it comes to scholastic
Gotcha.
esports.
Gotcha. Yeah, so highly recommend going. Sounds good. Uh, and I don't know the dates. Do you have the dates off?
Yes, March 4th and 5th. So we're about a month away.
That's
Um,
close.
so yeah, it is.
That's
Uh, well,
exciting.
most it's a great weekend where a lot of coaches and directors from across the country uh, uh, come together and descend upon Des Moines, Iowa, for a
Watch
good
out, Des
time.
Moines.
So yeah, yeah. Well, it'll be an exciting time for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, Adam, for joining us. You can follow Adam on Twitter at
Coach Antor.
Coach Antor. He has Twitter spaces that he does, a podcast. He goes on Twitch as well. He's all over the place. So catch him. He is great to follow for learning more about collegiate esports and esports in general. So thanks again,
Nice.
Adam.
Oh, thanks
Everyone
for
else,
having
have a
me.
great weekend and thanks for joining us.